Edmund is running like a cartoon character, knees just flapping, knees just high for no reason. Jordan lets it slip. He might be with glitter for the money. We need you. What does that mean? What does that mean? And then Casey is about to play in Patrick's face. Let's talk. Take two. What's up, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. We are back for take two. The audio was messed up on the other one. I told y'all the audio's messed up. The mic wasn't plugged in. You don't have to tell me. And our Mendez 6792 decided to be a smart ass and say something anyways. You're blocked and sort of three people that liked your comment because I have software to see that type of stuff. So for the rest of you, before we get started, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hype it. We're supposed to, if y'all know how to hype, I don't even have hype access. If you can hype my videos, hype the videos, and then leave your comments down below, only on episodes 4 and 5. My recap for episode 6 will be up in the morning, all right? So, let's try this again. Let's see if I remember all my good stuff, okay? So we start off with Callie and Edmund meeting, okay? Calabria. So he comes running out. It was a little awkward, okay? It had me on pins and needles. When he came out, I was like, ooh, it's awkward. It's awkward. I didn't know how she was gonna feel about it. I was like, ooh, is she gonna like him? But she started to like him, and okay, things were going great. They kiss right away. Okay, so they really do like each other. And then he starts crying, all but a weep. And I said, what are you crying for, Edmund? What's happening? But then he like popped back up out of the tears. And then that's when he took off running like a cartoon character to get the letter. And she was like, and that's how I was looking at the screen, because what are you doing? Edmund then lets us know in his confessional that he was about to cry with a boner. And I said, nigga, please. I'm so sick of you, Edmund. You have embarrassed me on several occasions. Several occasions. Okay? I don't even know what to think anymore. I don't even know what to think anymore at all. But we shall see what happens with them. All right. So we then get Nick and Kate. So they talk about religion. I think the top 3 conversations that everyone should be having in this pod, top 3. There are 5 main conversations I think they should be having through the wall. Top 3, though: religion, finances, and politics. Those 3 things are so key, right? So they're going to talk about religion. Nick asks Kate, are you religious? And she said, no, I'm spiritual, but not religious. Okay. Now, Nick said, well, he likes to think of him as having a quiet, personal relationship with God, very intimate, if you will. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Now, in my mind, in my heart of hearts, I feel like Nick, the moment that she said no, that should have been your key, your ticket, your inkling that this isn't going to work. I myself am religious, right? I am a Christian. I am Lutheran. I am not going to date a man. I'm not going to marry a man that is not religious. That is my personal preference. And I feel like because we are not going, we don't have the same shebang, okay? And that's fine. Do what you do, believe what you believe, but that is my preference. And I feel like for Nick, and we see later in the episodes, that he wants that, right? Because his conversations with Kate are not parallel to the conversations he's having with Annie about religion. So, Kate said that her and her brother had a conversation after her mother was diagnosed with cancer and ultimately succumbed to it, that how can there be a God that made her mother not only get cancer but suffer and then pass away, when a lot of people have that A lot of people go through that when a loved one does pass away. This was Nick's time to give her the gospel of the Lord. He did not. He sympathized with her, he empathized, and then he told her, I love you again. She still didn't say it back. Still, this is Nick's second time telling Kate, I love you, and her not reciprocating or saying it back. And then he goes through that, same old, same old. You can say it when you want to. No, she can't. And you're not okay with it. I don't know why they do that on this show, right? So then Nick goes up next door and he talks to Annie. And Annie is letting him know that she has trust issues because Nick is not giving her the reassurance that she needs because he has more than one connection. Annie, I'm sorry, don't you have two connections? Don't you have two? Because last time I checked, you had two. And this is what like bothers me about some of the people on Love is Blind. This is what bothers me. The fact that y'all will have two or three connections, but you feel as if your top connection should only be connecting with you. You know what I mean? And so we always get this type of conversation where I need reassurance. I just don't know. I need reassurance. And it's like, but you're not giving him the reassurance, Annie, that he needs to give you that reassurance because everybody is in a love triangle this season. The only people that were not in a love triangle this season is Edmund for obvious reasons and Callie. And that's only because we probably just didn't see it. Right? So Nick tells her, like, if you have trust issues or whatever, you know what? You can have full access to my phone. If that's going to put you at ease, you can go through my phone. You'll have the passwords, all that type of stuff. Okay? Cool. That's not a big deal to me. They then talk about, or he asks her, how would you feel if we had a child that was part of the alphabet crew? LGBTQIA plus or something. It's a plus. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Annie would say, well, I wouldn't be like hip hip hooray, but I would talk to them and whatever the case. And it seemed like you were giving a TV answer and not how you really felt about it. I'm gonna be real with you. So then we merged into a story where Nick was saying that his mother, like indirectly, asked him, was he gay? Right? Because he was sitting up in his room with the door closed. Nick, I'm gonna be real with you. It didn't make sense of a story, but Nick said that I was like, oh my God. I was so uncomfortable. I felt like I had to kiss a girl in front of them. Like, I'm not gay. Brendan and Annie. So Brendan is asking her if she has envisioned the real world with him. How do you see us out in the wild? She gets emotional because she feels that Brendan needs to tell her how their life will look in the real world. And they start talking about doors. I would like a red front door. I would like a blue front door. I said, this is what y'all talking about? The color of the front door? That's how you envision life with each other in the future? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So then we get Patrick and Casey. So Patrick said, before that, Casey's in the women's lounge, right? And she's talking to one of the sisters that I guess is just a prop this season. So she's talking to one of the sisters and she's letting her know how her ex, basically 2 weeks before coming on here, told her that this wasn't going to work or whatever the case, right? So she goes in and is talking to Patrick and she said, how did you find out about the show? Patrick said, should I apply? What was you on? Now, Casey doesn't tell us that she applied or not, but she does tell us and Patrick that her boyfriend told her to go on a different show that reached out to her a while back. And I'm like, that's also the problem that Love is Blind has been having recently. Y'all aren't letting people apply, y'all are reaching out to people. But okay. So Patrick was like, why would your boyfriend even tell you to do that? And she was like, oh, well, like, he saw this a really good opportunity for me, whatever the case. So Patrick was like, okay, so when's the last time you talked to him? She was like, a couple weeks before I came out here. He said, oh, we're going to have to put a hard stop to that. We need a hard boundary with that. And she was like, well, I mean, you too. Patrick said, I don't have no damn exes. I don't have no connections. I ended all my connections before I came in here. I don't have a backup plan like you. I said, I liked Patrick initially. I don't like Patrick no more. I don't. I don't like Patrick anymore. So Patrick now, even more so than before, is more unsure about Casey's commitment, right? So she asks him, lighten up on me. Fall back. Fall back. And I agree with her, right? Do I think that Casey has approached this conversation wrong and you should have never brought that up? Absolutely. However, Patrick is doing a lot. He's very intense and it's stemming from his own insecurities, right? Remember, Patrick is the half Chinese, half Cambodian that lives in Denver and has only dated white women because he wanted to get out of the stigma, I guess, of being the only Asian. But I feel like Patrick wants Casey because she's white. I feel like that's what it is. Because she's white, that's why Patrick wants to date her, right? So his own insecurities are getting the best of him, and he's doing too much with her. Because how do we know that you're serious about this, Patrick? I feel like the same questions that you are kicking down her door with, she could do the same to you, right? So he tells her that it's hard to trust her because he's confident but he's not a robot, and she's not a robot either, Patrick. We pan over to Glitter and Jordan. So Glitter is telling Jordan that she would have never given him the time of day in the real world. Fuck you. I hate when people say stuff like that. That's rude. It's rude. Any way you shake it, that is rude to say to somebody. So she feels like her dad brought Jordan into her life to help take care of his son that has diabetes because her dad passed away indirectly from complications with diabetes. And I said, what? But in her mind, she's rationalizing. And I said, look. I feel like, Glitter, you are finding a reason to want Jordan because you don't want to go with Mike because Mike reminds you of the douchebags that you have dated in the past. And you are what you attract, Glitter. Okay? So Jordan is like, well, my son's mom, has him. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got him. And, I would love for him to be with us like all the time. She has to be involved. She will be involved in a lot of the decisions about him. So they then have a conversation about them not potentially having children. He has the vasectomy, and while vasectomies can be reversed, they're not foolproof, right? There is a chance that it will not work, the reversal. So they talk about adoption, and Jordan was like, maybe we're just meant to be each other's purpose. And Glitter was like, I like that. Oh my God, I like that. So we get to Nick and Kate. So Nick tells Kate that he can see himself in the future with both him and Annie. I mean, both her and Annie. Now, he don't say Annie, but he said both of my connections. Kate feels that's fucked up, and God damn it, I do too. Because why did you say that to her? I just feel like Nick is weird. Nick is weird. So he then tells her, look, I've been open with you and you've been holding back, which is true. Which is true. I don't know what's wrong with Kate, but Kate is like, well, I just kind of feel like we have different ideas of love, and the way you said I love you could have been a slip, and I feel like you're love bombing me. Stop it. Stop it. That man is not love bombing you. Y'all got to stop using words wrong. That's not what love bombing is. Him saying I love you is not word bombing, fool. That's not what it is. She was so rude in this conversation. She completely invalidated how he feels because of her own issues and her own insecurities. So this man tells you he loves you, and because you don't feel that way yet, you want to tell him that that's not really what he's feeling? Go to hell, Kate, with your stupid ass spelling of your name. So now Kate, so that was awkward and it's quiet. So then Nick is like, hey, are you open to exploring a relationship with God? And it felt like an infomercial because it was like, why would you ask this question now? She said, no, I've never been religious. Me and Nick was like, wait, what? You said in the last conversation about the situation with your mom. Kate said, yeah. I said, after this, I don't. I was with Nick. You didn't say that you never had a relationship with God. She said, well, one could assume you're a dumbass too, Kate, and it would be true. You can't say, no, 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 no. No, no, no. So many people go through a situation like this where they'll lose a job or a family member passes away or like a child or something like that, and they will lose their faith. They'll fall out of their walk with God because a lot of people will say, if God is real, how can he do this to me? We hear people say that all the time, right? But that doesn't mean that and they never had a relationship with God. So Nick was like, you know what? Can't be with no heathen like you. I gotta let you go. I can't go through with this. So now Kate is mad. What Kate, not only did you tell him that you don't think he really loves you, you invalidated his feelings. You told him you're not religious, you have no intention on being religious, right? So what are you mad about? Y'all are not equally yoked. Y'all have different ideas on love. You have different religious views. And if I were to guess, y'all have different views on politics, just based on what I've seen about y'all, right? So she goes back to the women's quarters and she's crying and she's like, he's awful. He's so awful. And I'm like, what are you crying for? You were awful to him in that conversation. You were awful to him in the conversation. What is. I just. I'm enjoying the season. I don't know why y'all are acting like the season is boring. So now Nick is back in the men's quarters and he's feeling like he made a mistake. You did not. You did not. So Nick and Annie are talking. He tells Annie that he loves her and she is the one for him. And Annie, I hope you watch this back, baby, because he loves everybody. So Brendan is talking to Annie and she tells him, we don't have enough serious conversations. He asks her, do we need to? Yes. Yes. Yes, y'all talk about the serious stuff now to find out if y'all are walking the same path. So Brendan was like, you're such a strong person. You're going to be a great mom. What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? That's not what we're talking about right now, Brendan. Brendan then said that no matter which way you go, I'll be okay knowing that you're good. I'll be okay. He then tells her, because he big ass present in front of her, well, don't open up that present then. That won't be good for either one of us. And they end up basically breaking up. So she don't open it. She then tells him, look, I didn't even know if I was going to choose the other person or you right now. I don't know. I'm torn in between the two. Right? Shout out to Latoya Lucky. Brendan goes back to the men's quarters and tells the guys that he was ready to propose. How would she know that? How would she know that you're feeling that way? Y'all serious conversations are about the color of the door. Come on. So Patrick and Casey. Patrick said, he's nervous because he's feeling like this is too good to be true. Casey is begging this man. And I'm like, girl, tuck your shame in. So he tells her that he loves her. She says it back and he ends up proposing to her. And I said, okay. Yay. All right. So Brendan and Annie. Brendan tells Annie that he was coming into the date last night to tell her that he loves her. And he knows that, she's dating Nick, but he is the one that can give her the life that she wants. I can do it. Not Nick, me. You're supposed to pick me. It's clear. And I'm like, is it clear? Because you never voiced this. You never expressed this. So we get to episode 5. I want you to want me. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hype it, and then leave your comments down below. So Brendan is still talking about this damn door and house. We talked about our houses, right? I want the blue door, you want the red door. Yeah, the 2-story house, we know. It's manipulative. Because I don't like when they do this, and Mike was doing the same thing. So she tells him that, I want somebody that's gonna fight for me. I want somebody that's gonna fight for me. I want somebody that's gonna choose me. You're not choosing me. You didn't choose me. You didn't ask me to. I don't have to ask you to choose me. I don't have to. And that's true. Why does she have to ask you? Why does she have to beg you to choose her? Brendan, is really too little too late, right? Even now, Brendan is sitting there silent, not saying a word. This is your chance to fight for her. This is your chance. And he's not doing that. So he finally said that this is hard because someone is about to propose to her, but I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. She tells him, I'm sorry, deuces, and she skedaddles on out. Let's take a break from them. Let's go talk about Glitter, okay? Glitter and Mike. So Mike wants Glitter to want him like she wants. Mike wants Glitter to want him like he wants her. And he feels that he's a better man than Jordan. And he can't fathom why she would like Jordan while also liking him. He wants reassurance from her. The way that Mike tries to get reassurance is crazy, right? Because what Mike does is Mike tries to manipulate her into saying, okay, fine, Mike, it's you. Mike's not giving her reasons why he would be better for her than Jordan. It's just, I want you to like me because I got money. Quiet as it's kept, loud as it's known. According to Storytime with Ricky, you're a brokey and you owe some people. That's just what I've heard, okay? So Glitter starts crying and tells him, I'm falling in love with you, but I have another strong connection. And so then Mike was like, all right, don't worry about it. It's cool. I got it. And I'm like, go lay down. Go get you some Neutrogena or some Noxzema for that face. Get that together. So Glitter's now talking to Jordan. And I said, Glitter, look at your shoes. Is that why they call you Sparkle Megan? Because you got the glittery Alexander McQueen's on. Okay, sis. Still childish. Jordan didn't know that she had another connection. Talking about, I've just been so in my own world. Yes, you did. Something about Jordan is given very manipulative. Okay? I almost called her Sparkle Megan. Girl, your name is Glitter. Glitter tells Jordan that she loves him. He says it back. Nick and Annie. So she reads him a little something that she wrote. He proposes, and it took her a little bit to accept it, but she does. She then tells him, don't run to me. Don't be that guy. Keep it classy. I said, uh. So Nick comes in to celebrate, and none of the guys look happy. He's like, I'm engaged. And he comes running in, and he's geeked. I'm engaged, baby. And all the guys were looking at him like, ugh. And he was like, oh, I didn't know you were here, Brendan. How you didn't see him? Ain't but 5 people left. Nonetheless, so then Edmund starts crying. And I said, Edmund, look, I'm not going to play with you, Edmund. I'm not going to keep this charade going with you. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you want screen time or what it's given. But the fuck are you crying for? Why are you even still sitting here at the table? Go start packing and go on the trip. Ain't y'all about to go to Mexico? Ain't that where y'all always go to Mexico? So Patrick and Casey meet, and it was so awkward. It was so awkward. They were like, they didn't know where to stand and where to propose. So they were like behind that bench that everybody sits on. They're behind the bench. Like they're in the scenery. I was cracking up. So he gets on one knee to propose. She accepts. And they seem like they like each other, but it was awkward. Could just be the nerves, but it was awkward. But you can tell he really likes her. And I do not think she really likes him. I don't. I don't think that Casey is prepared mentally for this, right? So when they went back to the quarters and they go back to their separate spaces, he does a final look like a lot of people do. And she doesn't because she is walking with her champagne straight back to the little holding room that they be in. But she did keep saying, I keep staring at my ring. And I said, yeah, you see that money. You see that money. And that, I think that's what kept her going in the moment. Patrick gave her a nice little piece of bling, and I think that she's like, okay, maybe I can make this work. So we get to Mike in Glitter. He writes her a letter. She said, I appreciate it, but they cannot keep seeing each other. I said, well, damn, okay. She said that something is telling her not to, and she wants to follow her gut. He's like every other guy that she has dated, and her gut is telling her to go with Jordan, so that's the way she's gonna go. Mike is blindsided, and you shouldn't be. You really shouldn't be. So Mike throws a little bit of shade at Jordan. Be a man, suck it up, Buttercup, and go take your ass on back to the quarters. Don't do that because it never goes the way that y'all want it to go, right? You sitting here trying to throw this extra shade, same with Brendan, it never works for y'all, so just stop. Have some pride in yourselves and just accept that they don't want to be with you. So, Glitter is saying that she did not expect an amicable splitting like this. And she's like, maybe I have some false, or I made some false judgments about him. He was like, don't make me cry. Don't. Push that one tear out, it slid down, and then he quickly covered his face, did a little rub to try to get some more tears to come out. So Jordan and Glitter have a conversation. He proposes and she accepts. Nick and Annie meet each other and they seem pleased with each other. Now, she did say that he is not what she envisioned. Okay, he's more clean cut. She don't like that army buzz cut haircut with the perp. She don't like that. She said, but he is perfect. Okay. They couldn't stop kissing, which I'm assuming is a good sign, right? That's a good sign, right? We shall see. So then we have Glitter and Jordan meeting up, and she has on her her sparkle Megan heels. Jordan is in a confessional saying that this is the nicest pair of clothing that he has, right? Okay, I have no issues with that. You bought out for this. When they come out, Glitter does not look pleased, okay? All she saw was them big ass yellow teeth that Jordan has. Maybe less on the tattoos, more on the toothpaste. So he has a picture of his son to show her right away. Now, they did keep kissing, right? They did keep kissing. Glitter is saying that she was so nervous, but she immediately felt at home with Jordan, kind of like a warm hug, okay? He's putting the ring on, the shit didn't fit. She talked about my fingers are swollen. No, you gave them the wrong size. You gave them the wrong size. So she is telling him that she is so honored to like be able to be a part of, his life with his son. And Jordan said, yeah, because we need you. I said, we need you. What does that mean? What does that mean, Jordan? Jordan, are you about to play in her face for some money? Don't tell me you're going to try to take Glitter for all the sparkle she has. She clocked it, and so did I. She clocked that because she said, huh. Because it came out creepy, right? He then said in his confessional that he is going to put that vasectomy to use. Gross. Gross. Then, this one really got me. He was like, I pictured you would have a wagon or a dumpy. Child, she stood up and was like, I got a little something, something. I said, white women, bless your hearts. Bless your hearts, because she thinks she got a wagon. Hey, who are me to judge? Who are me to judge? So, we panned over to the women's hotel, and I'm about to get mad now. Casey's crying, says in her confessional that Patrick deserves someone better than her. And I said, oh, you about to play in this man's face. Patrick comes in, they're sitting down, and Casey tells him, I love you, and I was so happy. Here's the thing. Casey wasn't ready to marry an Asian man, right? Casey came into this wanting a white man. And even though her siblings are the United Nations with their spouses and their partners, she's not ready to do that. And she should have been honest with Patrick about that. But she wasn't. That's episodes 4 and 5. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, hype the video, leave your comments down below. I will have the recap for episode 6 up in the morning. Peace.